Well, today is Israel Memorial Day for the soldiers who died in combat. And usually people start at the beginning, but I would like to tell the story of my high school.
Please do.
So I was in front of the grave of Avishai. Avishai is a Yemenite boy born in Rehovot, where I grew up. Since we moved to Israel, I was in Rehovot. And Rehovot is a very mixed population. There is people who have been there for many years, as was Avishai and his family who came from Yemen. And myself, coming from France, I came here, I was 7, I did not speak Hebrew. And when I went to a youth movement, in that case, Bnei Akiva, it was a mix, and it was fantastic because you get to mix with people from all kind of backgrounds, and you visit their homes and you see different ways of life. And until a certain age, you think that everybody's home is the same like yours, but then you see that there is different ways, not better or worse, it's just
Very
different. And relations between your friend and his mom, and your friend and his dad, and your friend and his siblings. And sometimes you say, I could adopt that, I could do things like that. But in that case, we were very, very different, not only in the background, but also in our attitude to school. And it happened so that I was a very good student at high school. In fact, I had developed a method, like from age maybe 15 or 16. My attitude was, and I think until recently, I was sort of using it in the same way. And that is to be very good at what you do, like to be a very good student. But your behavior does not have to be as expected. So sometimes it can get you in trouble, okay? So, for example, in the Israeli army, I was accepted to medical school you do medical school, and then you can do the army as a medical doctor. And I was accepted to that program, but I declined. At the end, I wanted to do like regular army, like many people do here. And I volunteered to be in the paratroopers.
Why?
So maybe it was a small rebellion against parents, against society, that they decided I have to be a doctor, and I want to do it my way.
Well, I mean, your grandfather was in the...
Yeah, so my grandfather was a medical doctor, and my father, and it was like expected of me. And this was my little rebellion. It's not a big rebellion because they postponed medical school by 3 years. But also there was this issue that you need to sign a contract with the army afterwards. And if you study as a medical student before your army service, you have to do your obligatory 3 years. But then they also pay your tuition. And then you owe them. So you're on contract with the army because they want to use your expertise as a medical doctor. You do get paid. It's like a salary. Right. It's a professional. And some people, they stay for many years in the army as medical doctors, and they go up the ranks, and they can be in charge of a whole gdud. No, gdud I did, chativa I did, but pikud, or I don't know, K'tzin Refuah Rashi, and I was not certain that me in the army would be very good combination, which turned out to be true. I was doing my things in the army and very happy when that was over. But it's never over because you do so many years of miluim, and you get called back. Yeah. But this is different, you do it in times of emergency. But during high school I met Avishai, and I was a very good student, especially in mathematics, biology, all the sciences, and in my English was very good. And he was not interested in school so much, but he was fantastic at hiking. And he told me, we were sleeping in the dorms. This was the only year that I was out of home. My parents were not very much for it. It was a yeshiva tichonit of Rav Drukman in Or Etzion. That's near Kiryat Malachi. So for 1 year, there was this room. There were like 5 boys in each room, and he was in bunk bed on the other side, and he would wake me up and say, we have today a very busy day, and I don't feel like going to class. And if you miss class, it won't change your grades. I mean, you're doing like hundreds. Let's go hiking. And we would hitchhike.
Which is not really legal anymore. It's not
Not now.
idea.
But this was like the 70s of previous century, many, many years ago. We would hitchhike to Midbar Yehuda and go to Nachal Dargot, for example, and walk for a few hours.
For you non-Hebrew speakers.
A desert, the Judean desert, where they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, and in that area.
Yeah.
So there is like little water fountains, and there is like, and maybe today it's more organized, but at the time it was very wild. You'd get off the road and start walking, and there would be like no signs. You just need a little map, but it's not very complicated because you're like in a crater, in a canyon. It's a canyon, a small canyon. And then by the end of the day, we would drink some coffee, which was like the first coffees I drank. It was like a teenager. You would make black coffee with chawayaj, which is like kind of a... Chawayaj is like a Yemenite spice. Yeah. So he would teach me how to brew the coffee. So in Miluim, in the army, whenever I was making coffee, I was thinking of Avishai, who taught me to do these things. And it was a day of freedom. I mean, there was no cell phone. Nobody knew that we were there. If something would have happened, they would think that we were still somewhere out of class or something, but they would have no idea where to look for us. And there is no cell phones and no...
These are very frowned upon activities today.
Yes, I guess so. But we came back okay. We always took a lot of water and sandwiches, and we did it a few times, and I have till today, very good memories of him. And then after 1 year in yeshiva, I said, that's not for me. I am not a very religious person. I never was. And the friends I made there, I continued meeting them because we were like together in Bnei Akiva when they came for the weekends. And he stayed on, and I went back to high school in Rehovot. And then he went to Hesder, which is like an arrangement between the army and yeshiva, that they do some time in yeshiva after high school. And what was very special for Hesder at the time is that they would allow their students who were together as a group in the yeshiva to go together as a group into the tank.
Oh, wow.
So the 5 friends that they were in the yeshiva room in Kiryat Shmona went together into one tank in Lebanon, and it was hit by a missile, and all 5 died. So it was like one room that was gone. And next to him is buried Sharabi, who was his friend. So I lost friends, commanders in Lebanon wars and different activities. By my age now, friends have lost parents, friends even lost some children to cancer, to accidents. But there is something very special about the Memorial Day of Soldiers in Israel. And especially because it's so close to we're now making this when it's the Knisa of Yom Ha'atzmaut. And I know there is a debate, like, do you need to put it together? Like, I know in the United States there is the Memorial Day.
See, I was just going to say, I think that it's one of the things I find most beautiful about that tradition.
Yes.
Is because it contextualizes the reason we are mourning.
Yes.
It says, it happened and it's a terrible thing, and we will remember them, and we put effort into remembering these amazing people, and then we celebrate the fruits of their sacrifice, for lack of a better way to put it, to say, we're here, and it's thanks to them. And, we, it's like, spill a beer in their honor sort of thing. It's like, it's that mentality. And I think it's beautiful, actually. Something that I think is missing, actually, in many cultures.
Right.